Well, that's one big pile of shit. Good morning, guys. So we are at the property right now. It's roughly 14 degrees and windy. And today I'm just gonna get my cameras, most of them anyway. And I was gonna set a tree, but it's just too cold. I can't even feel my hands, so. But I'll set a tree probably the next day over 40, you know, and we'll do that. But yeah, what I'm gonna do in this video basically is get my cameras, explain to you why I have cameras in certain spots. Some spots I have at my locations, some are on in bedding areas. I'm either in my location or just to see like an inventory of, you know, what's around, because if I know they're here, if a good one's here, I'll focus on that one. And also I have a camera in an area where I'm going to right now, the first one, just like a reconnaissance one. Basically I found a spot and I didn't set up a tree there because I was kind of like 50-50. It is inside of like the border of a bedding area, kind of on a transition line between swamp and like oaks. So, and it's kind of difficult to get into as far as early in the morning because you're probably scaring a lot of deer in the fields. And so I wanted to see if I get a lot of pics or videos during the afternoon, which would be ideal. So yeah, when we get to that camera, I'll explain. So I'm on my way to where that area is, and I just noticed this gigantic scrape, right? So there's a licking branch here, right? Gigantic scrape. There's another one down there, and the field is there. So yeah, you know, a lot of guys would see this gigantic scrape and be like, oh, where's the tree where I need to set up in? And the problem is it's getting hit at night, okay? Maybe early in the morning as I come back. You know, you want to be on the back side early in the morning. It might be a good area to kind of, you know, hunt over this scrape. But it's something that it's, you know, when you're picking out scrapes, it's very important to pick out the right ones, and cover, you know, security cover is key to picking out what scrape to hunt. And you have a lot of cover around, but this is just not an area where they'll visit much during the, especially the afternoons. Never happen. But early in the morning, if you get here well before first light, I like to be in a tree at least an hour and a half before daylight, sometimes 2 hours depending on the spot. So yeah, that would be an option, but you know, let's keep moving. All right guys, so we're in an interior of the bedding area, like I explained. Trails running through. The field is north of us, and you know, tons of trails back here. But you know, seasonal timing is key, and when these deer are here. You know, right now I'm seeing a lot of activity here right now, and you know, they're just looking for acorns, any available food basically. But that's my camera there, and you could see a trail. Actually, I blazed this trail. I cut this down and the deer definitely use it. But there's a trail going that way, all oak trees here, all swamp here, and this is a transition line. So it's very, very, you know, good to have a transition line. You can see the deer using it. The trail's just beat down to nothing. And matter of fact, this was a tree that I was gonna pick to set up, and I still might. It's a good early morning tree. I can get about 28 feet in this tree, and they usually come out there or from behind me, so it'll be a good shot. But I didn't see anything here during the pre-rut at all. Nothing. Then again, there's no sign here in the pre-rut. You know, this is not a high concentration of does. So but I did see stuff late season, after let's call it late November, very late November to like mid-December till now. I'm starting to get some pictures. So camera, I used SPYPOINTs and TACTACAM. I have a love-hate relationship with both. So I make my own little posts that I screw in the tree. I don't like black straps. A lot of guys put their cameras really, really high, and that's great. You know, if I was hunting, when I do hunt public land and I do have a camera, that thing's going 8-9 feet up. But I hunt this property with 2 other guys, and they're pretty cool, and they don't, you know, really, they just shoot does and whatever. But you know, I'm after those big bucks. But I'm gonna get the camera and then move to the other spot and explain that. So these little tools are little devices I make to screw into the trees. If you guys want to see me make a video on how I do it, it's basically just a regular bolt, quarter 20 bolt, quarter 20 you know, lag. So, and basically nail it in a tree and you can adjust it. It's extremely cheap to use. I love this over the black straps that come with these cameras, or that's just looks so unnatural. And that's where you really, if you're gonna have the strap on that thing, you got to put it way up in the tree so that it's out of deer's vision, because deer see that and it's just like, this looks so terrible. But this here, it blends in the tree, the camera blends into the tree really well. So if you want to see me make one of these in the materials, comment. All right, so we're entering a thick bedding area, and this spot really cool. But one thing I wanted to tell you guys, this time of year, antlers, okay? Definitely be on the lookout for antlers. Definitely be on the lookout for anything white sticking up. That's what I look for when I key on trying to find antlers. Probably do a video of me looking for antlers, but basically I love going after a rain or while it's raining, because all the bone on the ground, that just glows with that being wet, and I found a lot that way. But yeah, so we're gonna go way back in here through the bedding area, and this spot is really cool, and see a lot of deer over here. So, oh guys, the importance of blazing a trail. Every year I gotta come back and I gotta cut this stuff back. Really important, because it just definitely grows and grows. So stuff like this every year I need to address. You know, obviously I had a big tree come down, so I hung some ribbon in a tree here. This is just a what do you call it, a marker, so when I'm coming out of another location there, I know when to make a turn. So, and it's a visual. So yeah, this is a big boy. So yeah, I'm gonna have to come back with a chainsaw and cut this thing down, because it's blocking my path. All right guys, we're at the location. That's my tree right here, about 23-24 feet up. I didn't get super high in that tree, just due to the fact the higher I went, the more limbs I'd have to clear, and I can't reach some of these limbs. So I did shoot a buck out of that tree. Unfortunately, I didn't recover him. He came in chasing a doe. The doe came right here. She bolted that way. The buck was about 20 yards over there, and I shot him a little bit low. It happens. Yeah, if you hunt long enough, it does happen. He was a good buck, but a couple spots of blood hit him in a brisket, so it is what it is. That's hunting. So, but this tree definitely, this area I should say, definitely sees quite a bit of activity during the peak of the rut. Once the pre-rut is done, the bucks tend to push all those does into the thick cover, and they want to keep them there. They don't, you know, they're no longer visiting their scrape areas looking for hot does. You might see young bucks do that, but the bigger bucks are in the bedding areas. So that's why I stress so much to, when you're in the rut, you're hunting during the rut, you know, get into those bedding areas. Be as scent free as possible. If you're wearing scent lock clothes, do it properly. If you're hunting the wind, it's a lot more difficult in the, you know, hunting a bedding area, because the wind is always swirling. It's all from different directions, and deer can come from all different directions. So, you know, if you want to learn more about how I use scent lock and how it works for me, you know, comment. But anyway, here's the reveal camera. Like I said, love-hate relationship. I mean, I've had no issues with these, except for one that was giving me fits. But, you know, TACTACAM is really cool about it. They actually sent me a new 3.0, and it was over a year old, but I was having issues, reporting issues with it, and they honored it. So really cool of them. But yeah, did get some really cool pictures in here. So, but this, obviously, like I said, this is the location where I hunt. only for the rut. So let's get this camera. All right, guys. So this area is really, really good. We got this little cow pasture right here with a few cows there. And I've seen a lot of deer here. I had a lot of younger bucks that I had opportunities at. And there's been some really, really big bucks, but I just haven't seen them in the daylight hours. But I haven't been back here in a while, so whatever I see, you're gonna be seeing for the first time as well. I got two cameras here, actually. I got a tree set up there, which we'll go to first, and explain why I set it up there, and then the camera down low. All right, folks, so this is one of my locations. Now, I'm not a big fan of field edges, okay? The field is literally right there, but the swamp is right there. And on the other side of that, you got maybe about 100 yards, and you have a main road. So it funnels the deer. You know they're not coming through the open here, but they're going through that stuff, and they're going down low on the other side of this big stream, which I'll show you. But I see a lot of bucks early in the morning. Sometimes cruise, hit a couple of scrapes, and come right down this trail, and they go right to the bed. And I had a scent trail one time. I had some doe urine on my boots, and he followed it all the way to the tree. Little guy, but so this is my tree, big oak. Again, this tree been set up for a long time. I'm way up there, and I like these big wide trees, guys. And with the ring of steps, you can shoot 360 no problem. And yeah, it covers my outline really, really well. So I might start hunting this again a lot next year. Again, it just determines on what I see on the cameras and whatnot. But don't always hunt cameras, because sometimes, you know, this year I shot a big buck. I didn't have anything on that camera that day. So, you know, you just never know. My camera here on the low. So you can see as it's kind of going down to the hill. Nice old rub here on the tree here. Here's my spy point. And I aim it out of here because I'm going to explain to you why a lot of the bucks travel, like I said, on the edge, and they come right down here on the camera, and they continue that way. Just pretty much scent checking the does. There's a lot of does in this area, and you know, this is an excellent spot pre-rut and rut because it's thick enough where it holds some does. But I definitely want to go back there and take a look. There's another tree that I might set up in back there that's really, really cool. So we're gonna see. All right, guys, so the camera was right there, okay, back there. And this area here, it's a staging area, okay? The bucks tend to come in here right before dark, scent check does, whatever. I had my eye on this tree here, okay? This big oak. We're gonna do a lot of trimming. I can't get super high in it though, but it's so big. Because you can see this trail. I mean, it's just, they're just taking this nice little run the transition line, and I've gotten a ton of good pictures. A lot of them at night, unfortunately, but I did have some really good bruises show up during daylight hours, so it's all about timing. But my camera's right over here, and I call this the the rub area, and for good reason, okay? Old rub here, old rubs everywhere. I see a gigantic rub over here. It's this year, but I'll show you that one in a second. But you can see the scarring on all these trees. And when I first hunted this property, I couldn't believe how many rubs were here. But yeah, you can see again, that's a good one. All right, that's a good deer. Get some tick marks up here. So, you know, he hit the other side there. Yeah, it's definitely a good, look at that. So back there as well. So you can just tell right there, you know, this is all pre-rut stuff, and the field is right there. So this is hit during, you know, night hours. You know, I like rubs to tell me where a buck has been and how they're moving, but basically I know that's nighttime just by the location it's in. You know, you're not going to see any big bucks. Maybe the rut during midday, you know, but when they're cruising and a little stupid. But we got some more rubs here, another rub, old rubs there, So, poked in the eye. It's an old apple tree right here. This thing hasn't given apples in a long time. And here's my camera. And again, my camera hasn't really showed me a whole hell of a lot in here besides, you know, a lot of does and those bucks in the middle of the night. So, but again, that's why I haven't really set that tree up, because again, I don't really care what, you know, seeing pictures. I want to know when I'm able to shoot that buck. That's what I want to know. I want to know if he's showing up in daylight hours, then I can take him. If he's showing up in the middle of the night, it doesn't do anything for me. But this, you know, shows me there's a good buck in the area. So here's my reveal. I'm gonna take him down. All right, guys. So the camera was right back there. All right. Now this is where I'm taking you now, to where the road is. You can actually see a truck right there. Okay. Dump truck. So, or a trash truck. But this is where the deer love to be during the early morning hours. And you can see there's a lot of activity here, a lot of tracks from the pre-rut and rut. Okay, so these trees right here, you got a cluster of 3. All right, only thing is they're kind of leaning back a little bit, so you can never set up, never ever set up in your saddle with a tree leaning back. Not only is that dangerous, but super uncomfortable. All right, you always want to set up like it's a ladder, but this tree has a little leans back and then it goes forward over there. I don't know if you can really see that, and that might be a good opportunity, a good tree to shoot over these little cattails. Now what's over here is an old gas line. All right, so they cut it down, it grows with cattails, and this area is just loaded with trails. Okay, loaded with trails. You can see the trails going right through here, through the gas line, and again, the road is right there. But you look around, there's really not a lot of trees. I mean, maybe that one right there, I'm gonna be set up probably literally, you know, 15 yards from the road. But this is where the big boys like to play. You know, you want to hunt near fields to see a ton of deer, but another trail going right through there. So they bed down in this stuff, and they know nobody and is gonna come in here. So early morning, setting up. Okay, I had my eye on that tree too, the one in the back. But yeah, I mean, again, it's right near the road, right near the road. So let's follow it. And the one thing you want to notice too when you walk through trails, see how this thing's busted off? All right, antlers do that. The wider the trail and the cattails, you know a buck is knocking it down. I mean, a buck could easily bed down here and have absolutely no issues at all being seen. And it's a great area to intercept does. You know, does are running through here, the bucks just bed down and wait and stage. So yeah, it's really nice. Grapevine here. Absolutely. But it's, you know, again, it's difficult to hunt these areas because early in the morning the deer are going to be in that field, more than likely, and you're going to spook them getting in here. So how would you hunt this? Well, the only way I would hunt this area is I'd have to park on the road and come in. That's the only possible way. And I'm looking at that oak tree right there. That's a real nice tree. I get nice and high, shoot to this location, this trail, boom, done. That would be the best way to do it, the smartest way. Because if you scare the deer coming in, then what's the point? So, and you stop bumping deer, they're gonna change their habits real quick. So these are the areas, guys, that, you know, you want to focus on, you know, to kill those big animals. These are definitely the areas because they're thick, they're secluded, and don't let the road fool you. Yeah, guys, so again, areas like this, don't overlook them. It may not look like any deer in there, but that's where the deer spend the majority of their time, in areas just like this. So, and I didn't bring my rubber boots today, so let's hope the ice doesn't break. And it did. Yeah, so you could see right through this nice little trail here how safe these deer feel when they're walking in these cattails. You know, very, very safe. And keep your eyes out for antlers, because this is where you'll find them. Cattails knock them right off. So, all right guys, I will catch you on the next video, and that's going to be me setting up a tree. And yeah, season's pretty much done, but it's actually just started for 2025. You know, this is when you do the prep. This is when you get ready. This is where boots on the ground are more important than anything else. So, all right guys, be safe, Happy New Year, and talk soon.